Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever been there? Lying in bed, scrolling through your phone, waiting for that one text, right? That message, just some sign someone's thinking of you.
Yeah, that notification ping.
And then nothing. It's correct. Total silence.
It's a really common feeling, that that pang of loneliness, realizing nobody's checking in.
And it can be incredibly painful, can it?
Absolutely.
But what if that feeling, that sort of perceived neglect, isn't actually about other people being villains? What if it's about something more fundamental, like a basic truth about how human attention and, well, care actually work?
And what if understanding that truth is maybe to a kind of unexpected strength?
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive. We've got some fascinating insights here drawn from excerpts of spiritual reasons behind your loneliness.
Right. And this material, it's interesting. It blends philosophical perspectives. You've got thinkers like Schopenhauer, Alfred, Adler in there with some very practical advice.
It really does. It offers this unique lens on why we feel lonely. Yeah. And maybe more importantly, what we can actually do about it.
What we can control.
Right. So our mission today is to, cut through the noise, help you understand the surprising limits of human attention, where our expectations even come from.
And then equip you with actionable strategies, things you can use to build a life that's so strong, so fulfilling.
That it fundamentally changes your relationship with yourself and, with others too. I think you'll find truly transformative ideas here. Real aha moments, hopefully.
What's really fascinating, I think, is how this source immediately challenges that initial emotional response, the feeling of being let down.
How so?
Well, it starts by suggesting that when nobody checks in, it's often not because people are malicious or villains, but simply because they're, preoccupied.
Preoccupied with their own stuff.
Exactly. Their own laundry piles, overdue bills, and questionable life choices, as the source puts it rather.
Yeah. So it's not a personal failing on their part or even yours. It's more universal.
A universal truth about how human beings operate. We're focused on our own orbit, mostly.
That reframing feels like a really crucial pivot, doesn't it?
It is.
It suggests basically two stark options. Cry about it or laugh while you build a life so good they'll be texting you for advice because here's the truth, nobody's coming to save you.
Wow, that's blunt.
It cuts deep, right? Because it forces us to confront this fundamental thing.
Yeah.
Our liberation, our freedom, isn't found in hoping someone else swoops in.
No external rescue.
No. It's about seizing control of our own story. It's a harsh truth, maybe, but it's, incredibly empowering if you really grasp it. But I do wonder, does embracing that idea, does it risk leading to a kind of cynical isolation if we're not careful?
That's a really valid concern, but I don't think the source is advocating for isolation at all.
No,
it seems more about a realistic assessment. Understanding that nobody's coming to save you isn't meant as a life sentence.
No.
It's more of a call to action. It actually sets the stage for why human attention is, in fact, such a scarce resource.
Okay, so let's dive into that scarcity then. The material brings up Schopenhauer.
Right.
Who argued that this blind inner will moves and that this will often places self-interest ahead of caring for others. What does that really mean, this blind inner will in our day-to-day interaction?
Well, this blind inner will, it isn't necessarily about people being intentionally mean or malicious.
Okay.
It's more about a deep, often unconscious drive towards our own survival, our own comfort, our own goals.
So our own stuff again.
Pretty much. It means attention for most people isn't this limitless wellspring. It's primarily directed inward.
Like a limited resource.
Exactly. The source calls it a scarce fuel for thought and feeling. Our brains can really only focus deeply on a few things at once.
And modern life.
Oh, modern life with its constant little demands, emails, notifications, text, it effectively steals that attention, right?
Okay.
It chips away at deep focus.
So it's our mental bandwidth is just perpetually maxed out.
Totally.
And not even necessarily by big, meaningful things, but by like a million tiny pings and obligations.
Precise. And the source is very clear. People rarely choose to carry another person's entire life.
That's a heavy statement.
It is.
So if someone does give care, what's actually driving it? If it's not, pure selfless altruism all the time.
Well, according to this material, care is inherently conditional.
Conditional. How so?
It's often given when the act of giving connects to their needs, goals, or sense of belonging. There's often a quiet exchange happening, a sort of subconscious cost-benefit analysis.
So like social bonds work better or care flows more easily when it helps both people somehow.
Exactly, when it helps both parties move forward. And empathy. While it can show up really strongly in short bursts in moments,
It tends to fade.
It tends to fade, yeah. The material says, quite explicitly, People cannot carry another person's pain for long without harm to their own.
That's a tough one. A tough but maybe vital truth to grasp. We often wish for, endless empathy from people, especially those close to us. But it sounds like it's just unsustainable.
Even from our closest connection. They might offer more care than strangers, sure, because there's less risk, more trust.
Right.
But even close supporters reach limits and feel tired.
Okay, given all this attention is scarce, care is conditional, empathy fades, why do we so often expect constant attention from others? Where does that expectation come from?
That's a great question. Because if attention and care are so limited and conditional, why the high expect? The source points out many people overestimate how much others think about them.
Ah, okay.
And this error seems to stem from natural self-focus and from habit.
Right, the spotlight effect.
I've
heard of that.
Exactly.
That bias that makes us feel like everyone's watching our every move, noticing everything we do or don't do.
That's the one. The source confirms. The brain naturally overestimates how much others think about, a tendency known as the spotlight effect.
And this then leads directly to these unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And then naturally feelings of rejection or loneliness when reality inevitably doesn't match up.
Precisely. And there's another layer, too. Our childhood care pattern. They significantly shape our adult expectations.
How so?
Well, if you grew up with pretty steady, reliable care, you're probably more likely to expect it consistently as an adult.
Makes sense.
Whereas those who had very little support might sort of teach themselves doubt or expect less, so it shapes whether you anticipate constant watchfulness from others or not.
And then you throw social media into the mix, which seems almost perfectly designed to amplify this whole problem.
Oh, absolutely. It creates the feel of constant notice, right? Because notifications give these quick rewards, these short bursts of approval.
Yeah, you get likes, short comments, quick messages.
And those are brief bursts of attention, definitely. But as the source points out, those signals rarely turn into long care.
It's like an attention mirage.
That's a good way to put it. It promises connection, but often can't deliver the deep, sustained kind.
Yeah, a mirage.
It's a really critical distinction. Social media often gives us breadth of connection, lots of weak ties, but frequently at the expense of depth of care.
Right.
And interestingly, Schopenhauer, writing way before social media existed, warned about this kind of thing. He said, waiting for constant care weakens personal growth. And that seeking attention just to fix feelings of weakness or lack is ultimately counterproductive.
So what did he suggest instead?
He believed true strength comes from building skills, practical competence, and joining useful community effort. Things that build you up from the inside rather than relying on external validation.
Okay, so understanding these limits, attention is conditional, empathy fades. Social media often offers shallow notice. This isn't about becoming cynical or isolated.
Not at all. It's about being realistic.
Grounded.
Right. And with that understanding, the real question becomes, what do we do with it? How do we actually build that life that's so robust we're not just sitting around waiting for that text? Exactly. And the source makes it clear that understanding these limits actually gives a person practical room to act.
Okay, practical room. Yeah.
It allows you to ask for help in specific ways, not just vague cries for attention. It lets you plan backup systems for yourself.
Like contingency planning for support.
Kind of, yeah. And to build skills that reduce your overall dependence on others for certain things. Schopenhauer advised lowering grand hopes about others and preparing for change to avoid deep hurt.
So it's a shift from being reactive, just feeling hurt when attention isn't there, to being profoundly proactive.
That's it, exactly. You're actively shaping your life instead of just reacting to the perceived presence or absence of attention.
But how do you even begin to, say, increase the steady attention you do get from others if it's such a scarce resource to begin with?
Well, the material suggests that attention tends to grow for people who solve clear problems and who return help.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity and competence, yeah. Attention apparently fades for those who repeat the same need without new effort, or for those who only ask without giving value back.
So to get more steady attention, you need to be reliable yourself.
Right. Create reliable routines, offer clear, small returns to others, and build competence that makes your help actually meaningful. It really emphasizes providing value.
That makes a lot of sense. It's less about demanding attention and more about demonstrating competence and mutual support.
Exactly. And that connects directly to another critical, protecting your own mental energy.
How do you?
The source advises choosing fewer intense, maybe focusing quality over quantity and accepting that most people will care only.
That sounds a bit counterintuitive, maybe.
Yeah.
Fewer relationships.
It might seem so, but it actually paves the way for something really powerful. This idea of freedom.
Freedom through responsibility. Okay, tell me more.
Well, Alfred Adler, another thinker mentioned, explained that real strength begins when an individual takes full responsibility. Okay. And this contrasts directly with Schopenhauer's warning that constantly desiring recognition and support just leads to frustration and suffering.
So when you truly internalize that care from others is limited, that it's conditional,
you naturally stop chasing approval so
that genuinely sounds like liberation.
It can be. Energy that you might have wasted on worry or resentment or trying to figure people out.
Yeah.
That energy is freed up for action, for solving problems, for personal growth. The constant mental noise of wondering who notices and who approves becomes quiet.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
But for someone who's really, deeply stuck in seeking that external validation, how does that shift actually happen from chasing approval to finding inner strength?
Right.
What's the first tangible change they might note?
I think it fundamentally changes your relationship with yourself. That fear of being ignored, it often drives the urge for it, right? Because we're kind of wired for safety through connection.
Sure.
But accepting that attention isn't constant, that it ebbs and flows, helps to remove this emotional trap.
So you stop expecting others to provide that constant care base.
Right. And the focus shifts inward to building your own ability to manage challenges directly. Emotional balance becomes easier because your self-worth isn't constantly being measured by how much attention you're getting from outside.
So instead of obsessing over, say, why someone didn't text back,
you redirect that energy.
Right. Hours that would be wasted on replaying conversations, reading into silences, or imagining judgment can be redirected toward constructive action. That feels like a huge practical shift.
It's massive. And again, this doesn't mean avoiding connection entirely. Not at all.
Right.
It just means entering relationships with clearer eyes, understanding that everyone, including yourself, has a limit. Adler actually talked about contributing to a community, but without making that contribution the sole basis for your personal worth. He called it social interest.
Social interest, like a drive to connect and contribute.
Exactly. A fundamental human drive to connect and contribute to the well-being of others. It transforms individual challenges into opportunities for collective growth, for the active creation of mutual value. And that builds tremendous resilience.
Okay, so we understand the limits. We understand the shift towards internal responsibility. What are the practical changes? How do we put this into action day to day to really build that robust life?
Right, the actionable stuff. The source offers several strategies, and they seem to fall into two main buckets: building internal resilience and then engaging strategically.
Okay, let's take internal resilience first. How do you build that when the external world feels so, unpredictable sometimes?
It really starts with focusing on things that are entirely within your control.
Like what?
Like setting realistic goals for yourself and then breaking them down into small, achieved steps. That builds tangible progress without needing external. Developing habits like daily planning, maybe some regular physical activity, consistent self-education, even just reading or learning something new regularly. These become anchors when external support is absent.
So things like physical health, maybe financial stability, developing skills, these aren't just, good life choices in general.
They become more than that. They become protective resources that reduce vulnerability to the loss of attention from others. It's like building an internal fortress, brick by brick.
An internal fortress. I like that.
Yeah, strength grows from deliberate action, consistent habits, and clear thinking, especially when support from others is minimal. And the very first step, maybe the most, separate what can be controlled from what cannot. Just making that distinction and directing your energy towards the controllable stuff, that reduces so much wasted effort and mental fatigue. It's foundation.
And skill development really stood out in the notes too. The source called it a daily investment. What does that actually look like?
It means maybe choosing one skill that feels valuable, practicing it in focused sessions, getting feedback if you can, then refining it.
A continuous cycle.
Exact. It turns weaknesses, strengths over. And, importantly, it provides a clear internal measure of progress. You know you're getting better, regardless of external praise.
And this applies to problem solving.
Definitely. The process mentioned is defining a problem clearly, listing verified facts, generating multiple potential solutions, and then acting on the most practical option. Shifts your mind from feeling stuck or paralyzed.
Having momentum.
Right. And it reframes obstacles as experiments, things to learn from, rather than just crises.
Building systems that protect against chaos also sounds incredibly practical. Things like checklists, maybe organizing your contacts, having daily routines.
Yeah, these act as safeguards. They ensure life continues moving forward even when help from others is absent. They automate stability to some degree.
And what about mental?
Also crucial. The source suggests things like naming emotions as they arise, which helps prevent them from just overwhelming your thoughts.
Like emotional intelligence?
Kind of, yeah. And using simple if-then strategies like, if I feel anxious about X, then I will do Y, a pre-planned coping act. It replaces impulsive reactions with purposeful acts.
And seeing rejection differently.
Yes, seeing rejection as a source of information rather than a judgment. What can I learn here? What does this tell me?
And physical resilience supporting mental strength.
Absolutely connected. Good sleep, movement, balanced meals. They build the basic stamina you need to handle difficulties without crumbling. So it's really holistic.
Okay, that covers internal resilience really well. What about the other bucket? Strategic engagement with others? Does this mean we become hermits or just connect differently?
Definitely not hermit. Social interaction, when you approach it strategically, is still incredibly valuable.
So how does that look?
It looks like asking for help in precise terms, not just vaguely hoping someone notices.
Being specific.
Being specific, offering something in return, even if it's small, and expressing genuine gratitude. These things strengthen relationships without creating unhealthy dependence.
And boundaries.
Boundaries are knowing when to say no, protecting your own time and energy is described as necessary maintenance. It's not selfish, it's self-preserving.
And maintaining a diverse network seems important too.
Yeah, the idea that many light connections can provide small forms of help, while maybe a smaller circle of trusted individuals offers that support.
That ties back to Adler's social, and not blind dependence, but that active creation of mutual value.
Precisely. And then, maybe less glamorous, but super practical, financial privilege.
Ah, yes.
Having some savings, basic money management skills, it prevents small external shocks from becoming major crises. It's another layer of self.
And measuring your progress privately.
Right. Rather than constantly needing public recognition or like keeping your own private record of achievements, skills learned, challenges over, that builds quiet confidence. It's proof to yourself of your capability.
That feels really powerful, like the ultimate self-validation. And finally, this idea of deliberate exposure to mild discomfort.
Yeah, this is about building inner stability by intentionally taking on small challenges, things just outside your comfort.
Like initiating a conversation with a stranger maybe, or tackling a task you usually avoid.
Exactly. It expands your confidence bit by bit, reduces the fear of uncertainty, and develops an inner stability that remains intact even during major disruptions.
And professional guidance coaches, mentors?
Can be helpful, definitely. They can accelerate progress, provided the goal is to strengthen your independence, not create a new...
Right. Makes sense. So, okay, bringing this all together, what does this all mean? We've really explored how human attention is this scarce, limited thing.
Often driven by self, yeah.
And why empathy, while powerful in bursts, just can't sustain those heavy emotional burdens indefinitely. We've seen how our own mind, with things like self-focus and the spotlight effect, lead us to overestimate how much others think about us.
Setting us up for disappointment.
Right. And we touched on how social media, despite its promise of connection, often just gives these brief hits of attention that rarely translate into real, lasting care.
That attention mirage again.
Exactly. But here's what's truly compelling, I think.
Yeah.
Understanding these limits. It's not a call to just isolate yourself or become bitter.
No, it's the opposite, almost.
It feels like an invitation to profound personal freedom and strength.
By separating what you can control from what you can't.
By investing in your skills, creating those protective systems we talked about, building mental and physical resilience.
Or approaching social interactions strategically with clear eyes.
You can actually build a life that is robust, that's stable, even when external support might be minimal at times.
Yeah. This deep dive really shows that taking responsibility for your own life isn't this heavy burden.
It's a path to liberation.
Exact. Liberation from that constant, exhausting chase for external validation.
So as you, our listener, step away from this deep dive today, maybe consider this provocative thought we want to leave you with.
Okay.
If true inner stability really comes from accepting that care from others is conditioned, that it's often short-lived, what singular, consistent action will you commit to starting today? An action that builds your personal strength and reduces your reliance on the changing tides of other people's attention.